Icerind Hatchet, buffed by Royal Knight's Resolve, deals almost 2,000 damage per hit. And if that damage isn't good enough for you, getting Icerind only loses like 20 seconds, and getting Resolve loses less than a minute. We can reach the final boss rush in like 10 minutes. So in this video, I'll teach you where you can find these weapons, where you can find the materials to upgrade them, and how to use that good stomp against the sworn guardian of destined death, Malekith. Timestamps are in the description. Drop a like if you learned something, and subscribe if you want to learn more. Part 1. Where to find the weapons. Icerind Hatchet can be found in this chest. We use it because it has the art Hoarfrost Stomp by default. The art creates a cone of shards in front of you that explode after a short time. Both the shards and the explosion cause frostbite buildup, dealing an additional 2,000 damage anytime frostbite procs. Any percent wrong warp runners get Icerind Hatchet after resting at the Academy gate while running to get the Academy key. After jumping off the bridge, look for this little round dome in the distance with a spiked top. That's our target. Turn your brain off and just run toward it. Icerind will be inside. Royal Knight's Resolve is a little bit more complicated, but not much more complicated. It can be found on a corpse inside this isolated part of Volcano Manor. We use it because it doesn't work as intended. If you add it to a weapon, rather than just buffing that weapon's next attack as intended, it buffs all your damage by 80% for the next 10 seconds. We get Resolve after killing the Godskin Noble, right before we upgrade Icerind Hatchet to +9. To find the art, jump onto this little ball, jump onto this wheel, and then jump onto this ledge. Once you're up, run down these stairs to the Nightmare Room. I call it the Nightmare Room because it sounds like this. Quit out to reset enemy positions, and when you load back in, grab Result and teleport to Roundtable Hold. We get Godskin Stitcher for free after killing the Noble, so make sure to attach Resolve to Stitcher before teleporting to the Dragon Temple in Farum Azula to fight the Godskin duo. Now just put Icerind Hatchet in your right hand and Stitcher in your left to complete the build. That brings us to upgrading Icerind. If you want to fight the Godskin duo, you're going to need to get it up to +9, and that's not an easy task, but luckily there's a very easy path to every single stone you need, and also every single rune you need, luckily. Part 2. Where to find the stones and the runes. Icerind Hatchet uses somber smithing stones, meaning we only need to find 9 stones to get a +9 weapon before the final boss rush. Stones 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8 are purchased from merchants, leaving only stones 5, 6, 7, and 9, as well as somber smithing bell 4, which we'll need to buy stone 8 from the Finger Maidens to complete the build. Here's where to find them. Right after the last bonfire before Dragon Temple in crumbling Farum Azula, we can find bell 4 on a corpse right after jumping over this railing. Stone number 9 is just as easy to get. It's literally right along our path as we're running up to Dragon Temple. Stones 5, 6, and 7 are all found in Volcano Manor though. Stone number 6 is on this rooftop beside the path up to the Noble. Stone number 5 is on this ledge after the elevator, and stone number 7 is on this corpse next to this executioner guarding the Nightmare Room. All that leaves is the runes. To get the runes, we need to upgrade Icerind and buy stones 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. We get this hero rune after running past the dragon. Keep in mind, wrong warping takes all of your runes away, so don't crack it immediately. Make sure to wait until you're running up to Iji, but like as long as you do that, that gives us enough money to buy stones 1, 2, 3, and 4, level up either strength or dex, depending on whether you went warrior or samurai, and upgrade our weapon to +4 so we can kill the Godskin Noble. The leftover runes from that kill after leveling up our vigor then allow us to buy stone 8 and upgrade our weapon to +9 before the Godskin duo fight. So now that you have your build upgraded, let's talk about how to use it. Malekith is my favorite boss in the any percent route, so I'll use that fight as a case study to teach you the fundamentals. Part 3. How to use the weapons against Malekith. To kill any boss with Icerind Hatchet, you're going to need to know their moves in advance, because if you don't, they will punish you. hard. Memorization gives us the ability to find consistent methods of punishing a boss without putting ourselves in danger. If you skip that step, it might work out for you, but you're still going to be putting yourself in danger, and across a lot of attempts, you're probably not going to be as consistent as someone who has memorized everything. It's annoying, but it's a necessary nuisance if you want to stay safe. That said, even when we memorize everything, stuff can and will go wrong. Super impressive world record fights are impressive because those ideal patterns are rare. So to make sure you can still use theory in a realistically imperfect fight, there are 4 factors that you want to keep in mind. The first main factor is your FP. In short, it usually runs out when you need it most, so if you have a free moment, consider taking a sip, especially if a fight goes long. You can also plan sips in advance if you know you'll need the FP later. Using Malekith to illustrate how this factors into a boss strategy, I personally like to sip after getting 2 hits against Malekith because that allows me to go for a punish here that can hit for lethal. As you can see, FP management plays a massive factor in deciding which strategies are safe to go for. Also, proper FP management is necessary if you want to be able to punish at the best opportunities. The second major factor is your primary weapon. Throughout the fight, you swap between two-handing the Godskin Stitcher and dual-wielding Stitcher and Icerind. This allows us to use both Resolve and Stomp in combat, since Resolve activates while two-handing and Stomp activates while dual-wielding. Managing this can be difficult and requires practice. The most interesting spot in a fight where this plays a major role is the start of Phase 2. Since you almost always enter Phase 2 dual-wielding, you'll need to swap to two-handed, Resolve, run backwards, swap back to dual-wielding, and then run at Malekith. One missed input in that sequence messes everything up. Being able to do this kind of stuff without thinking will play a massive role in determining whether or not you win. The third major factor is your range. Icerind Hatchet has a lot of range. This makes it really easy to attack stationary enemies that only have close range attacks. However, the attack's shape makes it easy for more mobile enemies to just jump out before the explosion happens. One fun example is this weak attack by Malekith's first form. We can stylishly punish it by rolling backwards and stomping because the blade follows the same path every time. You can also do that for the stab attack at the start of the fight. This brings us to the fourth factor, which I think is just inherently linked to range, and that's the delay. Hoarfrost Stomp takes time to use, time to travel across the ground, and time to go off after appearing on the ground. This means you want to attack Malekith while he's either approaching you, locked into an animation, or attacking you in a predictable manner. This also means that you can set traps for Malekith if you know where he'll be in 2 seconds. The 2 best examples are catching the Beast Clergyman at the start of the fight, and catching Malekith when he jumps sideways to flank you, allowing for a quick kill if you get lucky. With these fundamentals in mind, you should have enough knowledge to tackle any boss in the any% route. I want to make a detailed guide covering each required boss individually, so subscribe if you're interested in seeing that. I'll be starting with the Godskin Duo, then Malekith, then Radagon, and then I'll be doing the Elden Beast, but as part of a separate video series on AI breaking that I've already started. So as you can see, there's a lot to look forward to. Drop a like if you learned something, and good luck with your speedruns.